A very warm welcome to Newswatch here on Hope TV as we bring you the latest in news today. My name is Melissa Oduor, and on the sign language is Boniface Buredi. Newswatch begins now. Now, the government has stepped up the fight against corruption following the presidential assent to the Conflict of Interest Bill. During the signing of the law at State House, Nairobi, today, President William Ruto said the enactment of the bill will curb the abuse of power by public officers, ensuring that public resources are used prudently for their intended purpose. The president noted that the new law sets I beg your pardon, let's take that story again. The president noted that the new law clears rules to ensure public servers, officers serve with integrity, transparency and accountability, and empowers the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to oversee its implementation, including dealing with matters relating to wealth declaration for all public officers, not only in the executive, but also in the legislature and the judiciary. At the same time, the president also signed the Social Protection Bill into law. He said it strengthens the government's efforts and responsibilities and provides a broader framework for supporting vulnerable members of society in all stages of life, ensuring dignity, equity and resilience, and coordinated by the national government and counties.
My deliberations with President Museveni spanned an extensive range of bilateral, regional, and continental priorities. We reaffirmed our united stance on closer collaboration in key sectors such as infrastructure, trade, energy, security, and regional integration. Our cooperation in these areas aims to catalyze economic development, foster people-to-people ties, and ensure that our engagements translate into tangible benefits for the peoples of our two countries.
Modern economies are built on production of goods and services. The more goods and services you produce, especially industrially and agriculture and so on, the wealthier you are. But when you produce goods and services, the next question is, who buys what you produce? So the issue of the producers and the consumers is at the center of a modern economy. So therefore, when you see people, leaders, whatever they are, just talking about all other things, this one, this one, this one. Why are you not talking about the market? Nani atanunua bidhaa zako? If you don't answer that and you say you are a leader, then there are serious issues. So therefore, here, I can see that we are waking up to talk about the market. the market of East Africa, the market of Africa. Because if we don't do that, the future is very bleak.
Mix-up of that story now, Kenya and Uganda have signed 8 new memoranda of understanding aiming to strengthen cooperation and catalyze economic development, deepening people-to-people ties and ensuring our relations deliver tangible benefits for the citizens of the two neighboring countries. This was witnessed at a meeting at State House, Nairobi, when President William Ruto held bilateral talks with his Ugandan counterpart, Yoweri Museveni. The two leaders also discussed the extension of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Malaba and into Uganda, and the dualling of the Nairobi-Nakuru Summit Road and its eventual extension to Malaba and Uganda. They further committed to address cross-border challenges, including the Migingo fishing issue.
My deliberations with President Museveni spanned an extensive range of bilateral, regional, and continental priorities. We reaffirmed our united stance on closer collaboration in key sectors such as infrastructure, trade, energy, security, and regional integration. Our cooperation in these areas aims to catalyze economic development, foster people-to-people ties, and ensure that our engagements translate into tangible benefits for the peoples of our two countries.
Modern economies are built on production of goods and services. The more goods and services you produce, especially industrially, in agriculture and so on, the wealthier you are. But when you produce goods and services, the next question is, who buys what you produce? So the issue of the producers and the consumers is at the center of a modern economy. So therefore, when you see people, leaders, whatever they are, just talking about all other things, this one, why are you not talking about the market? Nani atanunua bidhaa zako? If you don't answer that and you say you are a leader, then there are serious issues. So therefore, here, I can see that we are waking up to talk about the market of East Africa, the market of Africa. Because if we don't do that, the future is very bleak.
All right, to that story on the conflict of interest bill and the social protection laws. Now the government has stepped up the fight against corruption following the presidential assent to the conflict of interest bill. During the signing of the law at State House in Nairobi, the president said the enactment of the bill will curb the abuse of power by public officers, ensuring that public resources are used for their intended purpose. He noted that the new law now sets clear rules to ensure public officers serve with integrity, transparency, and accountability, and empowers the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to oversee its implementation, including dealing with matters relating to wealth declaration for all public officers, not only in the executive but also in the legislature and the judiciary.
Today, we are stepping up the fight against corruption by passing the conflict of interest law that now gives power to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption to take charge of matters, wealth declaration for all public officers, now not just in the executive, but also in the legislature and in the judiciary, to also make it illegal for officers serving in positions, whether they are in the judiciary, the legislature, or in the executive, to abuse the authority they have in their offices and to undermine the rule of law and abuse the resources that the people of Kenya have put together. and make sure that every resource, every coin, every cent, every shilling that is paid as taxes by the people of Kenya or in any other manner is used only for the intended purpose, and that no such resources find their way into private pockets or private enterprises. And that is why this is a very consequential moment in Kenya, that we are stepping up the use of public resources in the right manner and making it that much more difficult for people to take advantage of the offices they occupy. It is also significant that Kenyans in their entirety can participate in making sure that we hold public officers to account for the exercise of the authority and power that they have. And that is why this moment is very significant. And secondly, the social protection law now steps up our responsibility and provides a wider framework for us to attend to the vulnerable members of our society.
Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, in collaboration with the National Treasury, have outlined ongoing efforts to curb corruption and enhance resource utilization in the country. Addressing the press, the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury and Economic Planning, John Badi, highlighted key reforms being undertaken by the government, among them the rollout of the Electronic Government Procurement System, EGP, aimed at streamlining procurement processes and sealing loopholes for graft. He also announced the automation and integration of payroll systems as a strategy to eliminate ghost workers and address the issue of multiple payrolls within public institutions. In addition, he affirmed that pension payments will now be made on time to avoid unnecessary delays. CS Mbadi has issued a warning to individuals engaged in corrupt practices, emphasizing that they will face the full force of the law.
Areas of reforms which I came here to brief the Commission on is on the area of EGP, the system that we have just rolled out that will ensure that we streamline our procurement processes so that we curb and reduce drastically, if not eliminate, corruption in.
He has shared with us some of the reforms that they are undertaking. He will elaborate on some of those when he takes his time. But it has been very, very encouraging to hear some of the things that they are putting in place in order for them to seal those loopholes that people have been taking advantage of.
That we are carrying out in terms of integrating the payroll system. I think this may be news to some of you, but we are at advanced stage. Actually, we wanted to start from this month to integrate our payroll system in the IFMIS. And that, there was just slight delay, but we have committed ourselves that month of August, all MDAs, all ministries, departments and agencies, and the county assemblies will all be onboarded, and you will only be paid salary through this integrated system. This will cure the problem of ghost workers existing in our payroll, and it will also help solve the problem of having multiple payrolls.
And we too have presented some of the challenges that we have been facing, and the CS has given us assurance, particularly in the area of budgetary allocation, the resources that we need in order for us to effectively prevent and combat corruption.
Where we are also again automating and integrating the payroll system. I am happy that at least we have made some very good progress. Now we are paying pension. In fact, by June we paid pensions, monthly pension on the 22nd of June. This month we have paid pension on the 26th. Previously, pension used to be paid into the next month.
First Lady Mama Rachel Ruto has welcomed the partnership between the Ministries of Education and Environment in supporting environmental teaching in schools. The two ministries have agreed to fully support the First Lady Mazingira Award, which was launched in 2023. The First Lady was speaking during the awards Technical Working Group High Tea and Interaction meeting at State House in Nairobi. Basic Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok said the partnership will cultivate a generation equipped to solve environmental challenges. Environment and Climate Change Principal Secretary Festus Ngeno, on his part, said the ministry will support the national rollout of the First Lady's Mazingira Award to make it a climate resilience agenda. The awards intend to nurture and empower learners to become agents of change in the environmental conservation and climate action. They're also aimed at contributing to the national campaign to plant 15 billion trees by 2032.
You are advancing Kenya's climate goals, including our national vision to plant 15 billion trees by 2032. You are raising a generation that understands that sustainability is not a slogan, it is a daily practice.
The First Lady Mazingira Awards specifically is an initiative that not only recognizes exemplary efforts in environmental conservation, but also encourages innovation, responsibility, and action among our learners. Through this platform, our students are empowered to become environmental champions and advocates of green environment at the school and community level.
Our children are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the innovators of today. Through Flamma, we are giving them more than a platform. We are giving them a purpose. And when you empower a child to protect the environment, you are not just safeguarding the earth, you are investing in a nation.
We will continue to align our resources, Your Excellency. Here there is no budget. Expertise and partnership to ensure that the award is scaled, sustained and embedded within our national environmental education and climate resilience agenda.
And in a significant step towards bridging the science education gap in marginalized areas, Eco Network Africa Foundation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the School Equipment Production Unit, SEPU, has launched modern mobile laboratories in Nairobi. The initiative is designed to enhance practical science learning for children in remote regions, with a strong emphasis on encouraging girls to pursue STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects. During the launch, Eco Network President and CEO Dr. Jennifer Riria underscored the need for equal access to quality science education, stating that 10 mobile labs have been unveiled, 5 of which have already been donated to various counties through the support from the Ministry of Education.
We are launching an initiative that we believe will go far away, far aloft and far wide in this country, empowering girls and encouraging girls to take up science subjects, mathematics, and what we call STEM. Today, we are launching a lab. A lab, most schools in this country do not have laboratories. Yet we are telling children, we want you to be scientists, we want you to take up STEM subjects. How do they do that theoretically?
We have come to partner with the Eco Network Foundation Africa in provision of the mobile laboratories to schools across the country. These mobile laboratories are an innovation that are going to help revolutionize the teaching and learning of STEM by our learners and the teachers. So the Eco Network has come through and we are partnering with them to ensure that these mobile laboratories are provided to the institutions that are going to benefit.
And the inclusion of technology in the Kenyan education system will be an upper hand in training of children in Kenyan schools. Addressing journalists at the sidelines of an education summit organized by EdTech East Africa in Kisumu County, the Chief Officer for Education, Bovino Chieng, said the inclusion of technology in the curriculum will help students in being innovative in the skills they acquire in schools. EdTech board member Shiko Mbogwa, on her part, has called for collaboration in the inclusion of technology in school curriculum, including the training of teachers.
When they exit and join probably grade 1, then they are able to be innovative at that level. They'll be able to be creative and be able to use technology probably to solve communal challenges at that pre-primary level. I'm also seeing more so at the vocational training centers, where our learners are able to use technology to advance on the skills that they have been able to acquire through research.
The challenge was that our teachers had not been given enough time to familiarize themselves with the concept of using technology for teaching and learning. If we had taken the step to first build their capacity, I think we would have seen bigger gains, but it's not too late. With everything you do, first you have to try, and then you figure out how to do it well. So I'm glad that even the conversations that are happening today around the ICT in education and training policy will help us to change some of that. How do we build capacity better? How do we use innovative ways to ensure that our children are learning?
We'll take a short break right now here on Newswatch. We'll be back with more news stories. Don't go too far.
Kwenda Venezuela, kuland Venezuela, tena kwa airport nikakaa. After 30 minutes wakanipe passport, nikaona gari ya RNJ, referee and judges, wenye walikuwa wanaenda hizo game. Mimi nikachukua tu luggage zangu, hiyo gari yenye unaingia nikaingia. Kwenda kwa hoteli, kwa reception, wakaniambia kuna jina yangu. Hatuko tunataraji mtu kaa wewe. Na hiyo siku ndio ilikuwa game yangu ya kwanza. Jamaa mwenye nilikuwa nafaa kucheza naye wa mwisho show up. So hivyo ndio nikashinda gold. Nilikuwa naimba national anthem solo kwa hall.
Only on Hope TV. Look and live.
Rafiki soul is the promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond watangaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful, ninashukuru ukarimu. I'm forever grateful, ninashukuru ukarimu. Rafiki soul is a promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond watangaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful, ninashukuru ukarimu. I'm forever grateful, ninashukuru ukarimu. Rafiki soul.
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Now, the University's Student Leaders Association, USLA, is pushing for urgent reforms in the higher education sector, citing widespread mismanagement of funds and poor leadership. Led by the association's executive director, Albert Maloba, the students have cited the delayed disbursement of HELB funds, which they say has affected over 150,000 students and contributed to a rising rate of school dropouts. The student leaders are now calling on the Ministry of Education to take immediate action and ensure greater equity and progress in the governance and financing of higher education.
The University Student Leaders Association, having discussed and had a consultative meeting on the pathway that we need to have as a nation, especially in the higher education. The University Student Leaders Association, it's a forum or an umbrella that puts together all the students in the Republic of Kenya with the interest of making education more equitable, fair, and progressive.
Have not received their help, and they need this help. For you to sit for an exam in a private institution, you have to have completed your school fee. And as student leaders, we are fighting for them to at least sit for these exams. But we need the government also to at least help us to make this process easier by disbanding these funds to these students. Please, please, please. Not everyone is rich. We need each and every one of us to be comfortable in their studies. So at least the government should intervene in this area, because it is really affecting many of these students in our institutions.
Requesting, it's a demand. We are students in this country, we are citizens of this country, and also we are the leaders of tomorrow. So we need these leaders to step up and do their work. And their work is making sure that if the students have been given the liberty by this country to go to school, let them be at par and make sure that all of us are getting equal measure of the same education by disbursing funds that are required by the students. Once again, the leaders of this country should do their work. We are not requesting, we are demanding, and it's our right.
Just hours after launching a movement dubbed Fighting Brutality and Impunity, FBI movement, its leader Patrick Osoi has been arrested and charged with preparation to commit a felony. Osoi's communications team, which confirmed his arrest, said the movement was merely aimed at addressing police brutality and seeking justice for victims. However, Kenyans on social media raised curiosity over the movement's officials, who were dressed in military fatigue and carried rifles and were all former police officers. And police officers in Eldoret are holding 2 people who were found with a transit lorry carrying 12 sacks of bang. The 2 are arrested after the lorry was intercepted early Wednesday at Mailine area on the outskirts of Eldoret City. Uasin Gishu County Police Commander Benjamin Mwanthi said the police officers started tracking the lorry following a tip-off from members of the public. The suspects are expected to be arraigned in court, charged with being in possession of illegal substances. This even as police have asked members of the public to continue providing them with information about suspected criminal activities in their area for appropriate action to be taken.
Mwendo ya saa 8 ndio officers kutoka Mbarini walianza kufuatilia movement ya hii lori ambayo ilikuwa imebeba mbangi following a tip up from members of the public. So around saa 10:30 waliweza kuintercept hii lori area ya Mailine ikiwa na watu 3. Waliweza kushika 2 na mmoja akakimbia. Na ndani ya lori walipata mbangi gunia 12 ambao siko na street value ya around 2.86 million. That is around 3 million. So, watu 2 wako in custody kwa pia kwa koti kesho. Lori pia tuta apply kotini, tuta make an application iwe surrendered kwa serikali kwa sababu ya kubeba mbangi. Kwa muda mrefu tumekuwa tukifuatana na hizi Porsche cars, maaria, hizi ngari kubwa ndio zikitumika, but it's like sasa watu walaguzi wameanza kuchange tactic. So pia sisi tuko nao dynamics kibadilika, pia sisi tunabadilisha wa mode of operations, so tutaweza sasa kuwa na a lot of concentration kwa hizi road.
Naomba wananchi wakuwe wepesi wa kupeana information, wakiona makosa inafanyika wasikumnyamaze. Hii banki hatujui nani ataenda kutumia mwisho, aidha mtoto wako, mtu wako wa karibu. Kwa hivyo tukumbuke pamoja, tupige vita hii mambo ya drugs.
We're doing business news now. Kenya's electricity demand has reached a new peak, supported by new customer connections and increased consumption of grid power during the prevailing cold season that has increased usage of grid power to heat homes and offices. According to data from the Kenya Power National Control Center, the peak demand shot twice this month, with the historic levels recorded on Wednesday, that's the 23rd of July. An earlier peak demand of 2,325 megawatts had been attained on the 2nd of July, up from the previous peak of 2,316 megawatts recorded in February this year. Kenya Power Managing Director and CEO Engineer Joseph Siror said the company realized that electricity demand has increased by 46 megawatts in the last 5 months since the first peak this year in February. And during the last financial year that ended on the 30th of June this year, Kenya Power connected a total of 401,848 new customers to the grid. The company is also actively driving the uptake of electric vehicles and cooking appliances in a bid to increase electricity consumption. Family Bank has secured a $20 million, that's about 2.6 billion shillings, trade finance facility from the British International Investment BII, the UK's development finance institution, and impact investors to expand access to financing for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, in trade-related sectors across Kenya. The partnership, which seeks to bolster trade financing in the country, will have a minimum of 50% of the funds directed towards financing trade for SMEs, while at least 50% will support women-led businesses and agribusiness-related enterprises, including those engaged in agricultural businesses.
Again, coming closer home to Family Bank, looking at our client portfolio, 80% of our customers are actually SMEs, MSMEs. So that gives us a very good opportunity also to utilize this facility to give solutions to them. And these SMEs are spread across. We have some that are in trade business, we have others in agribusiness, and others doing other forms of business. But looking at the facility that we are signing up today, is going to help us to walk journeys with those customers. We facilitate them as they do trade. We facilitate them as they do their agribusiness and the entire value chains of whatever they do. So it will come in handy to help us do that.
The parallels that have come out today and that we're very conscious of in this relationship is that Family Bank really knows and understands critical sectors that drive this economy. We've talked a lot about MSMEs, which of course we know are crucial to drive the GDP and growth of the Kenyan economy, but also critical sectors like agriculture. 25% contribution to GDP from the agriculture sector. There are very, very few financial institutions that really focus on this sector, really understand it, and can help it grow.
NCBA has announced a new distributor partnership with Zetu Innovations, the creators of Nyumba Zetu platform. The deal will see the NCBA real estate customers utilize the next generation property management platform designed to simplify the complexities of managing residential, commercial, and mixed-use and affordable housing properties. The platform offers modern tools for today's dynamic real estate landscape, making property management more accessible, efficient, and scalable for all developers, landlords, property managers, and homeowners associations in Kenya and beyond.
Nyumba Zetu is an all-in-one cloud-based property management software, right? So what we do, if you think about it, all the way from listings, right, digital invoicing, receiving payments, automatic payments reconciliations, tenant communications, visitors management, if you think about maintenance requests, all those features are within Nyumba Zetu. And one of the things that we have done very well as well is like we have like a WhatsApp chatbot feature that makes it very easy for tenants to check their bills directly from WhatsApp. And we have also built an AI tool, one of which we are going to be showcasing today, almost like a ChatGPT of property management, where property managers can query their data, generate reports, almost like in a chat version. They don't have to necessarily go to the dashboard. So yeah, we are very technology driven and very modern in our approach. Yeah, and Of course, one of the greatest things that most of our customers always appreciate is the ease of use of our platform. It's very easy to navigate and it's super intuitive.
The partnership with Nyumba Zetu is really in line and aligned to our digital strategy. Today, we are a digital first bank. We're very interested in digitizing payments for our customers, collections, and any other operations that they have. We do recognize that this solution that is offered by Nyumba Zetu is going to improve the customer's operations and enhance their process. And because we've already perfected the payment and collection piece, we thought that we needed a partner to be able to fulfill the entire chain and ensure that the back-end process is also aligned to the front-end process where we complete the payments. What they should expect is simplicity in their operations, visibility in their payments, collections. Nyumba Zetu offers a communication portal that enables them to communicate with their tenants. So the whole process becomes much more simple, efficient, and easy for the property owners and the property managers.
Car shoppers, businesses and schools can now get up to 105 financing for vehicles through a new asset finance drive by Sifao Mobility Kenya and Equity Bank. The initiative includes a dedicated program for schools and institutions, allowing them to access full funding for vehicle acquisition, including insurance and other expenses, with loans payable over up to 84 months and adjusted to the academic calendar. They're also receiving training on vehicle use, maintenance and after-sales support. Sifao Mobility Kenya Deputy Managing Director Joshua Anya reaffirmed commitment to supporting businesses and education through innovative transport solutions. Speaking on behalf of Equity Bank Kenya Managing Director Moses Nyambanda, the bank's Commercial Director David Bagenda emphasized the importance of accessible and cost-effective transport solutions for schools and other customers. To sports now, the NBA will host 6 regular season games in Europe over the next 3 years, with games to come in Berlin and London in 2026, Manchester and Paris in 2027, and Berlin and Paris in 2028. Making the announcement, the major professional basketball league in the US and Canada said the Memphis Grizzlies and the Orlando Magic will face each other in Berlin on the 15th of January 2026 and again in London 3 days later. The Berlin match will be the first regular season game in Germany. NBA Europe Managing Director George Ivazoglu said the decision to move the matches reflects the incredible momentum and appetite for NBA basketball in France, Germany, and the UK, and across the region. Indeed, thank you for your company as we brought you Newswatch tonight. That's how we wrap it up. My name is Melissa Oduor. Boniface Muridi has been helping us on the sign language. On behalf of the entire production crew behind the scenes, have a good night.